What's up, everyone? It's Kanan.
It's Jessie.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple, and welcome to our analysis of RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 2. This was supposed to be up on Monday or Tuesday, whichever the one, but we had power problems because of storms and hurricane-like winds, it seemed like, so it got pushed to Wednesday, so sorry for the delay. So before we start, remember, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment, all that good stuff. This is an analysis video. We would love to hear you guys' thoughts on some of this stuff. Okay, the first thing we see is pretty much a shot that we've seen a lot of times, and that's Team RWBY overlooking the Ever After. Not really much else to really say about this one, but, you know, it's the opening of the episode. We've got to mention it. So, if I remember correctly, they're kind of pretty much talking like, you know, so what do we do? Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people have loved to point out the looks on Weiss and Blake's faces, because I get the feeling throughout this whole entire episode, Blake is just like jazzed that she's in a book that she's read, because, you know, Blake being the bookworm, like, and this is another thing I like about this episode. Blake never probably stopped reading books, but we've not seen her do it in so long that it's good to have bookworm Blake back. Now, I have to admit, I've already forgotten what RWBY is saying here, but I know it has something to do with where they are, because in the very next one, they're all...
She said about, like, it's like how it sounds being, like, you know, we're not in a fairy tale, and Blake points out,
Well, also, I love the look on Yang's face. But yeah, they're like, you've got a talking mouse on your shoulder. Like...
Because Little even says, you know, this is Ever After.
Yeah. Little comes out and says it is. So the beings in this world are aware that they're in...
Where they're from.
Yeah, pretty much. So, of course, this is where the the golden moments of this episode starts. Weiss stole this episode. She was amazing throughout this entire episode, and this is where it starts. Weiss is like...
wanting to keep this logical.
Yeah, she's like, are we even entertaining this idea that we're in the Ever After, a world that's from a, you know, like, well, I don't think Blake has stated all that yet, but she's pretty much saying, you know...
about being in a fairy tale.
Yeah, like, are we even bringing this up? And then she starts going on and on about, you know, this can't be. There's a spider. You're okay. I killed it.
No, you didn't.
It'll be okay. It was a little bitty guy. Anyway, this is where Y starts listing everything that we heard in the trailer. RWBY befriended a talking mouse, which Little yells friends, which was really, really cute. And we see one of the few and rare moments of RWBY actually smiling this volume. So at least Little put a smile on RWBY's face. We cut to Blake, who still doesn't look like she enjoys the thought of being captured by those vines.
Yeah, it's like she kind of grimaced at the, you know, remembering that happened.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Weiss really not wanting to repeat what Yang has obviously already told them, but this is where we get, you know, the talking raccoon on a purple wagon filled with trash. And, of course, we get, you know, Weiss like...
She just blinks.
Yeah.
That.
And then says, I'm going to go talk...
I'm just going to go over here.
Yeah. And she really just starts wrestling with herself. Like, she's going over everything and, like, is almost about to have a meltdown, it seems like. And so this is where, you know, I think RWBY said something like, this seems familiar, or something like that. And this is where Blake brings up the girl who fell through,
Fell through the world.
Through the world. And, you know, this is where Blake finally says we're in the Ever After. Now, this shot right here was gorgeous. They did this whole panning shot, and I'm sure this shot alone took a long time to do because it was a very beautiful shot. But we get to see the entire Ever After. around them, because, this is where they tried to go in Chapter 1, was this ridge to overlook everything. Even though we've not seen it in any of the trailers or anything, I hope we go to Candyland right there, because that looks fun. But I think we're definitely going, like, over to the right is the castle that we're more than likely going to spend Chapter 3 in. But, yeah, so this shot was gorgeous. Once again, Weiss is like, that's, the Ever After, that was a story when we were kids. There's no way. We're not in a book. Blah, blah, blah. I love this cute little smile that Blake has got, because Blake's very sure of herself that's where they're at. Ain't this where I forgot. Oh, yeah. This is where Little says this is the Ever After.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Little confirms it. And then...
This is where she asks about, if you met someone named Alex.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This
is where... Alex their purpose?
Yeah, so Little doesn't know who Alex is. Once again, more of Weiss just trying to be the voice of reason. That's what Weiss has always tried to be. But it's like the more she tries to stay logical, the more the Ever After
is it proving no, logic isn't going to work here.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. And so it's more talking and all that. And then I believe, is this where he mentions the jinxy peddler?
Yeah, they mention, I'm pretty sure they do, this is what jinxy was mentioned.
Yeah, well, because...
I know it wasn't long after this whole...
Weiss,
the whole Ever After thing.
Well, and Weiss says, we need to get Yang's arm back and get out of here, and Ruby is still missing Crescent Rose, and that is when Little says, I bet the jinxy peddler has it. And Weiss is like, who? And scares Little. People have actually zoomed in on this shot, and Weiss's eye twitches. Because the jinxy peddler, of course, is part of the story, so they're like, are you serious? Well, Weiss is more like, are you serious? So in the back, she's once again like, how is this possible? What is going on? Blah, blah, blah. But Little explains that the jinxy peddler is a raccoon that sells wares.
But they were also asking, when they asked Little about, like, how, because he comes by the village, their village once in a while, and, will they take just the things that aren't needed or we don't see or something like that. Well, that's you pointed out when we were watching it, that's still stealing.
Yeah.
Like, he's still taking, even if they don't know it's there, they could need that, and he's still taking it. So it's still stealing. And
I believe right here is when Little directs them to the town that Jinx goes to. And Little's like, I'll lead you right there. And next thing we know, Little is asleep once again on top of Ruby's head, which is really cute.
I think there's another one that goes with. Yeah, like we're pretty much saying, which, I guess we just keep going this way pretty much. Yeah. And the other one goes with this as well. Like, Ruby tries to wake Little. Yeah. Little just curls up, turns around, curls up, and faces the other direction. Like, gives a slight annoyed, I'm sleeping.
So, yeah, pretty much just more pantomime, just talking, what they're going to do. Little almost falls off of Ruby's head. Up. Yeah. And Little's like, the town's just a little bit further. And so, finally, Weiss asks Yang, how did this talking raccoon get your arm? So, for one, the different animation here that they used for the flashback, from what I saw, a lot of people loved it. They loved the different kind of animation. But Yang pretty much says that she was knocked out when she fell. I love that the star, she's got the classic cartoon stars around her head, but they're the ruby colors, which is pretty funny. But she says by the time she came to, the sneaky raccoon had already grabbed her arm and ran off before she could do anything. So I love how the imagery she is using here is making the raccoon look very evil. And Yang's reaction in the flashback is very It's very anime.
That's why I had to catch that one.
Like it's very One Piece like, because that's how, or like really any anime, when someone is like, "Hey, get back here," and then I screamed once again. So after hearing Yang's story, Blake giggles and she. So, okay, for one, have we ever seen Blake smile this big?
Or act this way? No.
Yeah, because she's doing the whole anime schoolgirl thing. She's got her hands behind her back. She's leaning in. She's got this big O smile. She's looking Yang right in the eyes, and of course Yang's got that smile on her face, like she's panicking, because it's just so funny when
happy but panic, more gay panic.
Yeah, because that's funny how Yang is. She's so confident. But Blake just melts that all the way. Now, I love this shot as well because we are literally seeing what Ruby and Weiss are seeing. And Blake is telling puns, oh, are you saying he caught you unarmed, And it's cute because when did Blake tell puns? Never.
The next one I think goes with it too.
Yeah, and like
because Blake shoved her, and then Yang shoved back, and she's just giggling about it. So
yeah, like it's very typical flirting of when two people like each other. I mean, this happens. I mean, heck, I pick on you all the time. Yeah. So yeah, we have Blake and Yang openly flirting with each other. Now, this right here we've got to talk about. Okay, so a lot of people thought that Blake is trying to hold Yang's hand here. I personally don't think that, because she doesn't really grab for it. If you ask me, Blake did this on purpose. You can't really tell if she did physically touch Yang's hand, but it looks like, because Yang's hand reacts. I think Blake meant to brush Yang's hand as a flirt, because right here she says how disarming, but the way she says it, Aaron's been waiting a long time, I think, to have Blake flirt with Yang, because it's very like Blake doesn't say ooh, but it's like, ooh, how disarming, she was like,
yeah, I agree.
It was husky, it was sexy, it was like she's putting the moves on.
I do agree with this, that I don't believe that she was trying to
Did you get Yang's hand reacting? No, you didn't. Okay.
I couldn't catch it fast enough to at least look like anything, but I do agree that she did it on purpose. It wasn't to grab and hold her hand. She would have done that if that's what she was doing.
Because Blake and Yang have held hands before.
Yeah.
So I really don't think a hand holding here would have been that as much a big a deal, because like I said, we've seen Blake and Yang hold hands before. This is different. This is like, if you are with the person you like and, it's mutual, and so you're flirting. And
it's a flirty thing to do. That's what this is. And it fits in.
And plus, the way Aaron delivered this, it was just wow. Like, having Aaron say something like that to you in your ear would probably give anybody goosebumps. But what is also really great about this is, for one, Blake is pretty much returning how she used to be before Adam. She's recovered pretty much. We don't know yet if she's fully, but she is definitely recovered in a lot of ways. But we got to remember, Blake thought Yang had died at the end of Volume 8. So it's almost like Blake is full in. She is flirting. She is just enjoying being around Yang as much as she can. I think Blake is on the offensive now as far as their relationship goes. And plus, we had Barbara on Instagram post a picture of two women's hands touching, and it said something like, when there's a close-up hand touch, things turn gay, or something like that.
I have it saved somewhere.
And then Aaron I know it's. How do you share? How do you? I know on Twitter it's called retweeting, but what's it called on Instagram when you share something somebody else has posted?
You just post. It's just a a
Okay.
reshare.
I
Like
don't
you're
have
posting.
Instagram, so I
Well,
don't know.
you just reshare it, and usually you would share it in your story.
Okay. Well, Aaron shared it, and then at the bottom it said dot 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 about time. And why is that?
Because that's exactly what Weiss says.
Okay, yes, Weiss is watching Blake and Yang all doing all this, and she says about time. Carrie, Eddie, and the rest of RWBY have definitely been watching the fandom online because everyone has always joked about suffering Weiss, or Weiss being a wing woman for Blake and Yang, or Weiss being the main supporter of Bumblebee, and it was just so perfect that they had it be her. Because Weiss, if you watch past volumes, starting with, there might be a few moments in the earlier volumes, but starting in volume 5, I think, when she had that talk with Yang, and ever since Team RWBY reunited at the end of volume 5, it's like she's been. There's several scenes where you can see her watching the interactions between Blake and Yang. And, this goes a little bit with the Bumblebee song, and they watch us and they know.
Yeah.
But the second time in a row, well, not in a row, but for the second time, a character within the show, within the universe, has pretty much confirmed romantic feelings between Blake and Yang. First it was Nora in Volume 7, now we have Weiss. Guys, kiss or no kiss? I'm sorry, when you've got characters that are in the show that are confirming it, it's basically canon at this point. Don't get me wrong, I want them to kiss because I think they deserve it. But kiss or no kiss, you can't convince me otherwise that Bumblebee is not canon, especially at this point. RWBY has laid it on very thick for 2 episodes in a row. And after Aaron and Barbara posted that, I think this is the volume. I want to hope it's the bridge scene, but who knows, because it seems like that would be a perfect time for Blake and Yang to be alone and for the scene to be about them. But yeah, I think it's perfect that it's Weiss that says this. So, of course, RWBY says, Weiss says about time, and RWBY says for what? Is RWBY oblivious to Blake and Yang? No. RWBY is just going through so much right now that
Her mind is everywhere else. Like, if she wasn't so torn apart in her own mind at the moment, she would have noticed too, and she would have said something.
Yeah.
But she's so focused on everything else right now that it's not. She's kind of tuned out. Like, so she's only hearing like parts of what things would be said, like when they're walking, not like the full conversation, but like how Weiss said something. Sorry.
Now, you're fine. Now, for the people who have wanted RWBY and Weiss to finally interact, because a lot of people said in 7 and 8 they didn't interact a whole lot. When RWBY says, for what, Weiss says, never mind. And then RWBY starts saying, it's fine, we'll get out of here, and all that, trying to at least scrounge up how she usually is. But Weiss stops, and it's a pretty... it's a scene that you can tell that not only is RWBY struggling with a lot, Weiss is struggling a lot. Weiss says she doesn't have a home to go back to, just like Beacon, meaning that she started to see Beacon as her home.
Yeah.
Because her home where she is from is complete. Even though Team RWBY didn't witness the fall of Atlas, they probably know. They've not said it. They've said, hopefully Winter and the others got the relics away from them and all that. They don't know that, but I think they have an inclination that things did not go well. But, and you got, well, you didn't get the part where her grabbing her sword, but, Weiss talks about,
that was just before this. Yeah, she's like, she doesn't have anything to go back to.
Yeah, that, and she says, they put so much into their plan that it could have, but they have no idea if they saved everyone. And so a lot of doubt going on here.
She said, like, I think she mentioned, like, she's pretty sure they got everybody through. But as far as, like, if anyone else fell or anything like that, they don't know.
Yeah, because the only one...
They do know, like, when things were starting to happen, Weiss was still up there, that they were at the ends of people coming through. Like, for the doors where they came in, there was no one left up there anymore. So they, I mean...
And, of course, Ruby says you did what you thought was best for Atlas. And also Weiss says, I'm sure hearing about Penny was a lot for you. So yeah, I think it's, even though Weiss seems like she's okay, she's also dealing with a lot herself, because Atlas was destroyed. It was completely wiped off the map. So, wonder if that'll come back later. So, they come to the end of the jungle section into the next section where this town is. I don't know who designed these bridges, but that looks completely dangerous.
But what I started to mention when we first saw it is I had a theory that the wooden, I can't remember what those kind of bridges, the suspension bridges.
Yeah. Or a wooden plank bridge.
Because I know we have some here that overlook, like, trees in the mountains. But these wooden bridges are the gap to go between the masses, because, and the thing is each one could be different. I mean, like, the one has, like, that we've seen in the previews and stuff, like, that had rope railings. But this one does not. But, I mean...
I don't know. I'm still thinking, I still want to... I don't know. Because every time we've seen it, there's nothing on the other side. Like, in that picture of Blake and Yang, there's nothing behind them. And in the intro, where it shows Ruby, who has the Joker smile, there's no landmass behind it.
That still could be trailer magic, but the fact that the thing is this is the bridge between these landmasses. We don't know what other ones look like. There could be a larger one that has a center point between, like the Candyland one. There could be one that has a split to go between the three of them. That center point would be a bridge to go off to another side. That could be something, because look below. There's a cloudy, like,
yeah, but it's not
air.
Storm clouds.
No, but still, that's not the point I'm making. Is I really do think the bridges are the roads in between the masses, because that'd be the only way that they could access them.
I mean, it could be. I'm not saying you're wrong, but just, I don't know. The way it looks, it almost looks like it's, I don't know. It reminds me of scenes in other anime and movies and all that where someone's wrestling with themselves. Because with Yang, we've seen it like it's storming and it's, I don't know. Who knows how she actually ends up there. But, because, we've still got the whole Blake, Weiss, and Yang getting shrunk and all that to come. So I don't know. Like, I have zero clue how this volume is going to progress. So we'll have to keep on, we'll have to wait and see. Now, this is cute. Okay. So, for one, a lot of people think that they had a Lord of the Rings reference here, where Little says this is the farthest I've ever been from home. Sam, of course, says if I take one more step, it'll be the farthest I've ever been from home.
Probably was a reference.
Yeah, probably.
We've known this. Well, a lot of movies have references in RWBY.
But, Little says, this is the farthest I've ever been from home. I've never been... Because they ask Little, I believe, what's on the other side, which Little doesn't know. And Ruby says, maybe you should go back home, because she doesn't want Little to get hurt. Little says, I wouldn't know how to get back. Now, that could be either just Little just... Because, if you get so far from home, your perception, all that could get done. Or because Little slept the whole way. But yeah, Little says, I wouldn't know how to get back if I tried. And and then Little goes, maybe I'll live right next to this bridge. And Team RWBY freak out. Now, I made a Twitter post about this. RWBY looks like she's like, oh my God, what have I done? Yang just looks like, you've got to be kidding me. Blake's got that look like, oh, poor baby. And Weiss is just, she's screaming the F word in her head right now. But I love...
So much emotion in one screen.
Yeah. And I love how everyone joked when Little was first shown that Blake was going to try and eat Little. And right here, she's like so...
The most worried about them.
You gotta go
I know.
on that. But then Weiss is like, enough. I'll handle this. And Blake is pure cat right here. Like, I don't know. It looks like a cat that's definitely, like, that you've caught eating something that they weren't supposed to be eating. And Little is building.
And dancing.
And dancing and singing, I'm going to find my purpose in my best house, and it's so adorable. But I question Little's...
building skills.
Yeah, like, why are, like, it's made out of leaves and sticks. Why are you putting rocks?
I can kind of understand they're putting rocks on top because if you think about it, if wind came up and blew it, it'd knock it up or over.
I mean, that makes...
But the rocks would hold it down, but it also...
It doesn't have good foundation.
No. So they're missing the step here. They need better foundation before adding the rocks on top.
But yeah, this was cute. And, of course, Weiss is like, do you want to go with us? I love Little's ears right here. And, of course, the house freaking destroys itself pretty much. And Little's like, yeah, that's probably for the best. Okay, so this is the town that we're going to. We saw this in the trailers. We saw it when they were previewing stuff. The Mountain Dew sky. And we see Team RWBY walking into town, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone that sticks out of place more than Team RWBY does in this town. We've got what looks like chess pieces. We got people that look like board game pieces. It's like, where are we? There's a flooring store right there, so, I mean, I guess people in Ever After need flooring done. By royal decree of His Highness, the permanent birthday party of His Most Royal is hereby announced. That sentence does not make sense. Does it? Does it? It's just, by royal decree of His Highness, the preeminent birthday party of His Most Royal is hereby announced. Would it make more sense like of His Highness is hereby announced? I don't know. But, okay, so we don't have the Queen of Hearts. This is the Red King. Also, the birthday party, Mad Hatter and stuff like that. Very unhappy, or was it very unbirthday or something like that? So, I thought maybe that was a little call to that. Did you get... Okay, no, you didn't. Okay, so... I forgot what the line was exactly, but it was something about belonging. And Little says, I've always wanted to belong, but I'm still small. And
that was about right here. I just couldn't. And
Yang literally chuckles. Like, she likes the unintentional pun that Little told. And, like, sadly, the only one who doesn't smile at this is RWBY. Even Weiss smiles at this. Okay, so this is after they have found the jinxy peddler. Did you get a picture of him at all? Okay, there he is. Yeah, this is our little raccoon friend. I still think this whole entire situation is based off Rocket trying to steal the Winter Soldier's arm. I do think that. But, he's showing his wares, and...
the picture before this is where...
Blake tells Yang, hey, you have to barter with him to get what you want. And Yang's like, yeah, I'd rather punch him. And Blake pouts. Because there's not any other thought going behind Yang's eyes. She wants revenge on this raccoon. You can even tell by the look of her, she's like, yeah, I just want to punch him and get my arm back. As everyone said, this is pure divorced freezer burn energy. Weiss is she's rubbing it in pretty much. She's like, oh, he's adorable. And
everyone else is just like, no.
Yeah, Yang is not
further,
happy.
The thing is the screen progression, the further, after someone says something, the more pissed off and done she's getting.
Yeah, Yang is done. She's not having any fun at all. And Yang points out that she doesn't see her arm anywhere. And Blake says Jinx's items look like something else. It's not junk, well, some of it is, but he's got some kind of spell or magic that makes them look like other things. And so we got I believe for that color that'd be either emerald or jade.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's a marionette, and then the other one looks like one of those pop open things. It's a rabbit, and
a scepter.
A scepter that looks very Yang-like. Now this was funny. Blake says, what does your heart tell you?
I had to catch that face.
Now, here's the thing, though. Is Weiss doing this because she's sick of the fairy tale talk, or is this more of her being done with them kind of flirting with each other?
Because that's the moment that she does it, it's just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like, that's how that plays out. It's the timing.
Yeah, once again, there's not a thought going behind Yang's eyes. And she says, that looks very arm-like. And you didn't catch it, but Blake pouts once again and notices that Ruby...
Oh, I did. It was before this, but this was really significant because Ruby kept staring, like, she feels a draw to the doll, and it's like, even Little knows.
It's not a doll, it's a marionette, because Penny,
I know that, but it's a stringless marionette then.
She's drawn to it, and yes, this is definitely related to Penny. It's heartbreakingly related to Penny. And so the first item that goes up is, and I can't remember what he exactly does with this stick. Is it just like how some merchants and all that will use like a cane and like, oh,
that's
look at this.
That's kind of what he's pointing with it. That's all. Okay, that's all he's doing.
I didn't know if
stick.
It was like a magic wand or something that he was using.
It
to
might, but he's just using it to point.
Now this
may have something to do with it because of how you pay for things.
Yeah. Now this person wins the rabbit-like thing. They look like a Lego person. Like, for sure, it's based off Legos. And we learn here that you have to barter and give something in return. Now, for this, all Jinxie asks for is a hug. It's that simple. Give a hug, you get the item. And so now
And Yang pretty much before that just said, okay, well, I guess this is going to be easy.
Yeah. And, of course, the scepter comes up, and Yang, believing this is her arm, wants to bid on it, but one of the soldiers wants it too. We really don't know. I believe it's to give a gift to the king.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a very hotly debated moment right here. Jinxie says that to get this scepter, you have to... I forgot how he words it, but it's pretty much the feeling of being loved. Now,
you have to tell me what the feeling of being loved is. So, like, you pretty much, the way he said it, you need to tell me what that feeling is to you, or something like that.
But in translation, you have to give it up. A lot of people thought this meant that Yang didn't know what it's like to be loved, but really that makes no sense because Ruby has told her countless times that she loves her. She experienced love with Summer, I'm sure with Ty, of course her romantic relationship with Blake, and plus her team and her friends all together. It would make no sense that Yang does not know what it's like to be loved.
Hell, even Raven loved her. Like,
in some way.
Well, think about it. When she was younger, before she left, before any of that happened, she would have felt that with Raven, which would have led to the anger she had now when she was finding her. But she has felt love through her entire life, so that's not what this is.
Plus, the person who animated this scene did confirm that it's that you have to give the ability to feel love to get the prize. In other words, Yang would have to lose what it's like,
Her feeling
of love to get her arm back. Now, she does look behind her. We don't know if she's looking at just her team. We don't know if she's looking at Ruby and Blake, just Blake, or anything like that. But here's the thing a lot of people have pointed out. Giving up her ability to feel love and all that for her arm, when it was her love for Blake that caused her arm. Like, I thought this while we were watching it, but it really seems like this volume is really painting a picture for Ruby and Yang, where in a minute we'll learn that Ruby has no hope left, but then we've got this situation with Yang and love. Could this be a literary thing of Ruby gaining her hope back by the end of the volume, and Yang, finally, her and Blake finally getting together? Because remember, Barbara said that starting in volume 7, Yang was going to go through an awakening. And Barbara said there's a line in this volume that is very important for Yang, and that she just felt like she would never be able to do it justice. So between Ruby and Yang, I think I would like to think they're trying to tell us something here.
But I also believe, because the thing about it, she had all the opportunity right now while they were doing what they were to speak up and say, okay, I'll take it, or I'll do this. This is,
No, she hesitates.
Didn't. She hesitates and looks back like, do I really want to give something like that up? Whereas I did get what he wrote down.
Yeah, it happened so fast. What? Okay, I see it now. Yeah, all right. So yeah, kind of a cheap way to
win.
Yeah, to win.
So clearly because of the decree thing at the top, these are the king's soldiers.
Pretty much, they promise Jinxie
whatever he wants.
Yeah, for the scepter.
From the king to get that.
Yeah, so they kind of cheat, which he declares the soldiers the winners, of which Yang protests.
And then, I had to catch the one where you could see the yellow things at the top of her head. Yeah. Like, hey, that's not fair.
Yeah. Plus, that's literally her arm.
Yeah.
That's hers. It doesn't belong to anybody else. Which, of course, they take it for now.
And gets all sassy and, yeah.
Yeah, Yang does say, we tried it your way, Blake, but she's about to go off. I didn't notice Weiss looking mad as well. But
because
Blake
she saw they cheated, so she was pretty pissed off, too.
But Blake is so badly trying to
follow the story.
Yeah, but also not exactly do what Alex did. I think that's part of the bookworm in her, but she wants to get out of here as much as everyone else. But while all this is going on, Ruby is not paying attention to any of
Even
this.
Little is watching.
Yes.
Little's not even paying attention. Ruby is solely focused on Jinxie still.
Yeah. And, he moves on to the marionette, and of course, Ruby raises her hand for it. And he says, I'll give it to whoever can fill this jar full of hope.
Go back. I don't know if there was a meaning for it.
The marionette being in the jar?
Yes.
A lot of people have pointed that out.
I saw that, and the thing is it's going to connect when we get to the other, as we move forward to more pictures. But I saw that, and I'm thinking, I need to grab this shot specifically because it just, it's focused.
A lot of people have pointed that out. Which Ruby falters, and I believe, Jinxie...
This was the other one.
Yeah.
Because...
Wouldn't it be something as little as Penny reincarnated?
But here's the thing. Little could be the key, one of the keys to getting her hope back.
As long as Little doesn't die, I don't care.
But you get what I mean.
Yes,
it shifted. That's why I had to get those two pictures, because this definitely means something.
Stuff like this happens in Ruby for a reason.
Yes.
But which Jinxie comments, oh, you don't have any hope left, do you? So, yeah, I think there's a story there with Ruby and hope and Yang and love. But Jinxie turns around and the marionette is gone. Little is going full thief on it, and it's like, no, mine.
Well, Little also says, brings up about, well, I don't know, it was like fair is fair or something like that.
It's
pretty much
fair, yeah, if they don't, like, I forget. I know what you're talking about.
because expect like everything that they told about Jinxie coming through their village.
He just takes when we're not
yeah,
looking.
So
yeah,
they did the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it, but they picked it up like this with both hands and then ran past. I did get the next, I think. Yeah, and that's when it transformed.
Yeah, but eventually the magic starts wearing off, and the marionette does indeed transform into one of Penny's swords, which Ruby full on gasps. Like, it's a pretty heartbreaking gasp. Like, she now knows why she was drawn to it. The little bunny turns into a mouse with some cheese. It's like,
which sets everybody off.
Yeah. And then, of course, the scepter turns into Yang's arm, and the soldiers are, like, horrified. They're like, it's somebody's arm, it was kind of funny. And
it just escalates from here, like,
yeah.
emotion and expression wise.
Yang goes after her arm. Weiss
I couldn't catch them all, but I caught her arm in the corner, and then
Weiss looks so done. She is so disinterested at this point. Blake is freaking out because things are going, like, just not how she would want them to.
No, because they're
doing
going,
what Alex did.
Yeah, they're going. It's going similar to what Alex did, but also different because
I just love
some of this stuff didn't happen, but she's only focusing on one of the same things that did. So
yeah, I love the look on Weiss's face. So of course we saw this in the trailer. Yang playing tug of war with this soldier for her arm, which. Yes, everything is a gun in RWBY, and she fires
her face too.
Yeah, she's like very chaotic right now. Is this RWBY running over to
get it? Yes.
Yeah. So RWBY desperately runs over to the stage, and I don't know what Little says, but Little says something cute. I forgot what they say, and she picks up the sword, and this was hard.
She has a moment, yeah.
Like, she almost broke down crying right here. Because this is Penny. This is one of the few things that's left from Penny. I think, it's right here. I do not know what Little said here.
I can't remember, but RWBY does, like, actually gives kind of a small smile to her.
Yeah.
To them. Like,
she does give a little smile. I don't know if it was for Little or if it was maybe she gets a hold of herself enough to at least smile having the sword.
I think it was related to whatever Little said, which meant a lot to her because she sees how happy RWBY is. Mm-hmm. So it just...
You said she again.
I'm trying, okay? But that's the interaction there because Little did this. Went... Because RWBY couldn't get it, Little went and took the initiative to get it for her.
You missed the one thing of Little saying about how important hugs are, and Little hugging a strand of RWBY's hair.
Yeah, I did forget that one.
That was precious. It already shows how much Little really cares for RWBY already.
And then we have this chaos.
Yeah, this was amazing. This is pure going into town, your friends raising hell, and then running out of there. But yeah.
Oh, I got each one of them.
But yeah, Yang runs by and is like, I got it! I got my arm! Blake is panicking and says, RWBY, come on. And she follows in Yang's destruction. And Weiss just...
calmly walks by.
Yeah. She is like...
head held high, just walks on by.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done with this. I don't have time for this. Let's just go. RWBY does take the time to pick Little up, and they run out of there. I do like the little growl that Jinxy gives. It's a typical raccoon growl, and he has to give the hug back. It's a refund. He did not sell what he was supposed to. So, yeah, if you're not happy with the sale, he has to give it back. Luckily for him, it was just a hug in this case. Okay, I think Yang... and to an extension Barbara, have been waiting since Volume 3 to do this joke. But Yang's like, man, people around here sure take auctions seriously. And then goes high five to both Blake and Weiss. Now, Blake, of course, she loves Yang, but she is so stressed right now.
She's got her hands up here.
Yeah,
like, she just
like,
keeps
no.
walking. Like,
When Yang does it to Weiss is like, ugh. Like, she's kind of disgusted a little bit. But, yeah, Blake is freaking out. She's like, we're doing exactly what Alex did. And she sits down and says, I don't know exactly how it says, but, I've wanted to be a part of the books I've read or something, but I didn't want to become the moral of one. Then, of course, Ruby sits down. She's like, I was drawn to it from the moment I saw it, and it starts to rain. Okay, we did not mention it earlier, but during the interaction between Ruby and Weiss, when Ruby turns away to walk away from Weiss, we hear thunder. The Ever After is reacting to Ruby, only Ruby's emotions, because Weiss even says, great, now it's raining on only us. And later, when the soldiers catch up to them, one of them says, oh, somebody's sad. It's got to be over here. So yes, technically we were right on the Ever After reacting to your emotions, but it seems like for right now, it's only Ruby. Okay, I love this shot of Weiss because she's over it. She's done. She wants out of here, and she says, we know how the story ends. Let's go directly to the tree.
Yeah, why don't we just go to it? Like, we know what happens. So,
and Blake says it's not going to be that easy because I believe they do list everything that Alex had to go through to get to the tree. And Weiss is like, we're not in a story. Enough. I've had enough of this. She walks off screen.
She stomps and walks off, and then she keeps doing it a couple more times.
Yeah, she ends up in the exact same spot. And then
she gets pissed off.
Yep, she picks up a rock, says stupid tree. The rock comes back and knocks her right in the back of the head, knocking her down. And let's see. Okay, so Little says, it's not that easy.
It doesn't work that way here.
Yeah. And, Weiss is in the back, oh my gosh, what's... Okay, so there has been some controversy amongst people that after what happened in Volume 8, they're being way too silly. There's too much comedy, too much whiplash between serious stuff and comedy. Okay, let's clear that up right now. Really, if you look at this, the only one who has kind of been silly on purpose is Yang. But that's part of Yang's character. That's always been part of her. Blake is stressing because she wants to get out of there, but she knows there's a certain way to do it because she, like we said, she's the bookworm. She knows how these things are going. We're so used to Blake keeping her cool that her stressing and freaking out is funny. Guys, Weiss is not trying to be funny. She wants out of there, but she is the logical one of the group. But no matter how much logic she tries to use, the Ever After is going against her.
It's proving that logic is not... You can't use logic to get through, to win through.
And she is struggling with that because she's Weiss. She's kind of stubborn. She's not going to accept that. So even though to us, yes, it's funny, she's not really trying to be funny. She's not really trying to be silly. That's just how they're delivering.
Yeah, that's how it's presented to us.
To me, this reminds me of the humor from like the early volumes. I love it. I think this is really great comedic writing for the situation that they're in. So we get this, which we know there's a moment where she looks at the sword again and we see Penny's reflection in it. But then, of course...
They bounce in out of nowhere.
Yep, on their...
That's when they say someone's sad.
Yeah. And they find them. You're like, you stole royal property pretty much, even though the king had not even yet received it. And at first, Yang wants to fight. Of course, I'm the Yang. Let's fight. Oh, what's that? I really want to punch that. That's exactly what this is.
And they all kind of...
Yeah, they're not as tough as they claim to be. Okay, this was rough. Ruby, now, this is, even though Ruby is still sad, depressed, and going through all this is a little bit of a look at the Ruby we're used to. Because, she knows they need to go to the birthday party. So she offers Penny's sword. Something you would think Ruby would not want to part with. And her speech about Penny is really touching. I wish I could remember it all. But, saying the sword of a great warrior, the strongest warrior there ever was, sacrificed her life for thousands. She was touched by magic, and then she went to the stars and could see the world through a whole new light, I believe, which is very touching because she is talking about the death of Penny. Now, I don't think you... Okay, yeah. Someone did close in on Little while Ruby is telling the story of Penny. Little is like, wow, looking at the sword. It's really cute. But Ruby knew what this would do to all of us, and so the soldiers are crying, and even their horses...
Even the horses are crying.
Yes.
This one's comforting it.
Yeah.
Those ones are on the ground crying with each other, and then this one's just, you can see the tears just building in the eyes of this one.
Yeah.
And it's just...
So they did that on purpose. And so they accept the sword. They do take it. They're like, this way to the party. And Blake's like, Ruby, are you sure about this? And Ruby's like, we have to go to that party if we're going to get out of here. I kind of do like this because Ruby is once again leading them out of this. But what she says, is this the last one? No. But what she says is, we need to stop pretending we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which kind of calls back to when Ren and Yang had their spat in Volume 8. A lot of people think she might have been directing this at Weiss, but I don't think it was... Like, it could be to all three of them.
I think it was to all three, because...
Is this the last one?
No.
Okay. And after she says that, they look at each other, and
That's the last one.
Yeah, and they follow her. We see the castle.
I think I got the castle, too.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I didn't.
But we see the Red King's castle, which will definitely be Chapter 3. I'm guessing that, it might last more than one chapter with this whole Red King thing. Who knows? But there still seems like there's a lot to go on. Is that the chess game? If so, is the Red King the one that shrinks Weiss, Blake, and Yang? I don't know. But you were saying you do think it was all three of them?
Yeah, I do, because if you think about it, the way things were, the way Ruby's slowly progressing, losing herself, losing her way within her own mind, which we've started seeing because of all the outcome of, 8. So, I believe it was, because they all, they did what they thought they had to do, acted like they knew what they were doing, so... because of what, Weiss says, the logic and the things when they were planning for stuff because of Salem and all that. But here, it's clear Ruby's already seeing, okay, we need to stop pretending we know what we're doing, and we need to just pretty much go with whatever's getting thrown at them and decide, pretty much winging it through it, because that's the only way they're going to get through this. They can't solely go off of just the book. And they can't do it logically. So there's got to be a middle ground between that. Which, that's why, Blake was freaking out about not doing exactly what Alex did. But the thing is more than what Alex did happened. So she's not, her panic would have been for, okay, we're not following it exactly. But we're not following it at all either. So, what could that change? But
yeah, it could be to all three of them, pretty much telling Weiss to stop trying to be all logical, telling Blake to stop worrying about following the book, and telling Yang to calm down in general.
Which, yeah, that also makes a point. That's putting it simply.
But I really like this chapter so far. I know it's only been 2 chapters. We've still got 8 more to go. But so far, this is turning out to be one of the better volumes, in my opinion. Volume 6 is still my all-time favorite volume. This may overshadow it by the end of it, because I just really like it. I like that this is in a way, a break from the main plot. But let's face it, a lot of series have done that. They've taken a break from the main plot to tell a different story. But this could also still further the plot. It depends on what happens at the end. We don't even know if Team Ruby gets out of the Ever After at the end of this volume. We do not know that for sure. And the only reason why I say that is because 10 chapters seems like a really short amount to get as much as we already know what happens in this because of the trailers.
For all we know, we could see them get out at the end, but when for volume 10, we could lapse back to get remainder of things in between, like how they did other volumes, where you'd see these certain characters here, but then they'd also jump back to what happened at that point in time, like seeing what we would have, like the key for them, another part of their key of them getting out, which would happen with the in timing of the real world. Yeah. So because we don't know the timing. I think they're gonna be here longer than they would in the actual world.
Okay. And plus, we've still got Jean. He's still a big mystery. We've not seen him. Neo is still lurking somewhere. So yeah, a lot of unknowns for this volume. But hey, that's part of RWBY season. It's a bunch of unknowns, but hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave a comment. So sorry, uploads have been very inconsistent, just between work, her being sick, and me still waiting on my computer to get back. It's just hard to do a quick video when we're working with older equipment right now.
Factor the weather into that, because it's been pretty unpredictable.
But, like I said, hope you enjoyed it. That was our analysis of Chapter 2. It might be a little bit shorter because we don't have the intro to also go over. But hope you enjoyed it. As always, guys, this is Kanan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.